Ever heard of the Radical Origins Collective? They're a little-known Swedish art group led by mute artists Gabriel Stoff and Kenneth Mattsson that worked in the 1940s. They were rock stars in the art world at the time but got the Fatty Arbuckle treatment, and the ROC was effectively deleted from history by an art world afraid of being associated with what they had cultivated. Unlike Arbuckle, the ROC were guilty of their crimes. Early works by Stoff and Mattsson were simple, enigmatic affair, often giant paintings of shapes that seemed like a new language. Wood logs painted white and lit on fire, two human-sized white cubes set diagonal from one another in a black room with hidden speakers playing white noise. But this was all the pre-mute phase when they were just a duo of mildly unstable artists. See, along with every other piece mentioned and others, there was a 300-plus page manifesto-like artist statement without the slightest connection to the actual work. According to secondhand accounts, these were long political tirades. At times, the duo seemed to advocate for an anarcho-capitalist society before snapping into paragraphs about communist paradises. The only consistent aspect of these statements were about language and originality. Stoff and Mattsson mourned the death of creativity and wanted to separate themselves from an art world they felt was riddled with plagiarism. The two recruited 36 artists from across Europe to create a compound at the base of the Aka Mountain. Said compound was rhombus-shaped, had no windows or plumbing, and was constructed mostly out of a reddish-brown concrete-like material, and the construction took about 14 months. At the end of those months, the era of the mute ROC everyone has forgotten about began. Every ROC piece made for the next 2 years was made out of handmade materials. Everything from the paintbrushes that they used, which were original designs hidden away from the public eye, to the paint, the paper, and the clay. It was all crafted the way a mad genius today, sent back 1,000 years in time, would make them. What's more is the art from this time period was so detached from reality that they're virtually indescribable, even so unexhibitable. The reputation the ROC developed as the bad boys of art was turned into genuine hate. Literally no gallery would take a single one of their works. They went from being world famous to blacklisted and block calls. A couple getting ready to go mountain climbing spotted a dead body behind the ROC compound April 5th, 1974, around 6 a.m., and reported it to the local authorities. The body was of Milger Bufsern, one of the 36 artists recruited by the collective. She was nude, her vocal cords were severed, and the wounds from this were healed over, implying the surgical procedure was performed years ago. Her body was carved up with endless designs and shapes that seemed to exemplify and explain the tragedies of all life. The Swedish government had been looking for an excuse to take down the compound for years, and so the structure was demolished with the 37 inhabitants still in it the same day. With the destruction of the compound, we lost the last creative pieces of art ever made. Perhaps that's a Pandora's box we didn't want to open anyway.